Well, if you break the speed limit, you're not alone. State police say they could never slow everyone down. We sent the Night Beat's Richard Essex and our photojournalist Jeff Dillo to see what would happen if they drove the speed limit. The video, Richard, certainly got our attention.
Well, the reason that we're doing this is last week an Indiana State Trooper said they can't put enough troopers out on the highway to slow things down. So we put these 4 cameras on this truck so we could capture everything around us and went for a drive. Okay, so here we are getting ready to get on 465 down the south side. And we're going to set the cruise right at 55 miles an hour. We're going to go all the way around the city and see what happens.
Before we got settled, traffic was on us. Right off the bat, we were getting tailgated. We knew within a mile that we were in for a ride.
I got to tell you, going 55 feels like we're just crawling.
All the way around the south end of 465, we felt like a target.
Look at the semi behind us. He is right on us.
Semis, cars, everyone speeding right by us.
Oh, look at this guy. Teenagers going 70, 75.
Then we made it into the construction zone on the southwest side of town.
Getting tailgated again. I'm starting to see why the state police say that they could put 1,000 troopers out here and not slow things down. We appear to be the only ones going the speed limit so far.
Once out of the construction zone, traffic clears up for a few miles. Then on to the north side. A school bus comes up fast on our right-hand side. No passengers.
Gary Community School Corporation going at least 70.
The north end of 465 is fast. At times, we are holding up traffic. Cars going by us left and right, and we see our first state trooper with somebody pulled over.
We've been passed by everybody. I can safely say that we've been the only ones going the speed limit. So how do you fix it? Who do you call? What do you do? That's the question.
Coming to an end of our 53-mile journey.
We have driven the entire way around 465, staying the speed limit in the construction zones and the regular areas, and it doesn't matter what side of town you're on. Going the speed limit, you feel like you're a hazard. So what should the speed limits be on the interstates? We'd like to have your comments. We'd like to hear about your comments. You can go to the WTHR Facebook page and post your comments there. From downtown, Richard Essex, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
And I can tell you already, Richard, a lot of people not surprised, unfortunately, at your report. Thanks so much. However, melting snow and ice on your roof can cause some big problems. The water can find its way into your home if there's an ice dam. The Night Beat's Richard Essex is taking his reporting to new heights tonight. He's actually on a roof to show us how this happens. Richard?
Well, we have talked so much about what ice dams are. We figured the best way to show you is actually get up on a roof and show you. This right here is an ice dam. It's caused by snow, ice, and all kinds of other debris getting into your gutters and stopping it up. And you would think that the warmer temperatures would be a good thing to start clearing things out, but that's not the case, because as things start to melt, as that water starts to flow down into your gutters, it doesn't have any place to go except back into your house.
This is video that was taken the night after the ice storm put a thick coat of ice on Dawn Bandy's dance studio.
So I'll show you this part back here.
She was showing us some of the water damage inside the building.
Came down to get a Coke, and it was literally raining inside. Scared me to death.
She and her staff had put trash cans under every leak in just about every room and hallway of the building.
This is what happens, and they said that the only thing they could really do is possibly cut that, but then it's gonna have a big hole in the ceiling.
While we were talking to her, drops of water were hitting her on the arm.
This is why we don't allow
And seconds later, part of a ceiling collapsed. More than a week later, she is still fighting the water and ice.
But hey, it's not gonna fall on us this time.
Ice dams on a roof have backed up water into the building, and that water has started to pour through the ceiling.
This area here was about ready to collapse, so we went ahead and cut it out. There's been some minor leaking since then, but and then we're gonna have to replace all the drywall.
In every room, there is damage. Contractors have been able to remove huge sections of drywall from the ceiling to prevent any additional collapsing.
This is all coming out. The whole ceiling's gonna have to be taken out, but at this point, we're safe to be in here.
And these are special athletic floors over the hardwood. And this building is more than just a building to Dawn. It's a livelihood. It's a part of her family.
Actually, my dad built it. I believe it was about 25 years ago, close to 30, when I was little.
Damages from the ice storm to this building are expected to reach about $60,000. and that includes replacing a roof that is just 3 months old.
There is not a safe way to remove these ice dams. Experts tell us the best way to eliminate some of the damage is to take a long rake and start pulling some of this ice off, but never get up here with any kind of a torch or some people have been putting salt in it, but then you run the risk of killing the plantings as it comes out of your downspouts. So if you've got ice dams, the best thing you can do is wait for them to thaw out and clean up the damage afterwards. From the near north side, Richard Essex, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
This is our city, these are our streets, we're taking them back starting right now.
Standing in a group with their shirts pressed and the cars have been freshly washed, and they've all been handpicked by the chief to go out and roust out the bad guys.
There's certain neighborhoods that we're going to hit like 90-minute increments.
And it didn't take long.
Check out the car. There's a car going towards 38th Street from Hawthorne. He turned into me.
13-year veteran of the police department, Officer Robert Windling, and his street partner, Officer Sage, stopped and were questioning the driver of this SUV.
What's your middle name, Josiah?
Tayana.
How you spell that?
T-Y-A.
He couldn't spell his middle name, and the only ID he had wasn't his.
This is a Department of Corrections ID card, but it's not him. It's somebody else. Just in case, because you don't have the license.
So he was handcuffed. After 20 minutes of questioning the driver,
I swear.
Okay.
I don't have no warrant or nothing.
the officers got the picture of who he claimed to be.
Here we go. Negativo.
The driver, according to police records, is a habitual traffic offender.
You got the right to remain silent.
He caught driving as a felony offense for him. He was taken to jail. Our next stop, right down the street.
I think that guy's got under the warrant.
Police had pulled over this car after running the license plates. The owner of the car has an arrest warrant from another county. And instantly, the tension amongst the officers ramped up, and this is why.
Step out.
Hey!
Don't put your hand in the pocket like that.
The driver was going to jail.
The guy just wasn't thinking. He went to get something out of his pocket. And when he's being taken out of the car.
Just as this arrest was wrapping up,
I don't know if it's true, but I just heard on the radio that maybe an officer was shot at Michigan and Tibbs.
At 2036, they put on there that he was shot.
the tension hits a new peak.
Well, this is not your average Friday night, guys.
An officer was shot and the suspect was on the loose. It was all hands on deck.
Obviously, you do everything you can to get over there and you take it a little personal, to say it lightly.
The officer that was shot had just broken up a fight and was doing paperwork, the very same thing that Officer Windling and his partners had been doing at the very same time on a different side of town, but this time a different outcome. In Indianapolis, Richard Essex, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
Tonight, 13 Investigate shows you the exclusive video with the Night Beat's Richard Essex.
This is video shot by a student on December 10th inside the Newcastle High School gym for the basketball team. It is video that the team would later watch when dissecting their first loss of the season. Newcastle lost to Muncie South by 2 points. In the closing minutes of the game, Newcastle coach Steve Bennett called timeout. He came into the huddle and then appears to punch one of the players in the stomach. He then flings his right hand into the player's face. Take another look. The player wearing number 4, a freshman at the time, winces in pain as the coach's hand hits him in the numbers. That player is Bryant McIntosh.
You know, when it happened, Bryant, he looked right up at us, and we knew he was scared.
His parents, grandparents, his entire family was shocked by what they believe had happened. Coach Bennett hitting their son right in front of the entire hometown crowd.
And we were both looking at each other thinking, you know, did that just really happen in the gym in front of everybody?
Now let's back up a second. Who is Bryant McIntosh? He is the third generation from his family to attend Newcastle High School. His mother played basketball there, and his dad helped coach the 8th grade team. This is a basketball family and a basketball town. This is video, a highlight reel of Bryant McIntosh's basketball career so far. It was put together by another coach for the growing number of big-time college recruiters that have been knocking on his door. Now back to the game video, the one that shows Coach Steve Bennett striking out at McIntosh. Within days, the video was circulated around town. Life for Bryant was difficult. His parents say the basketball team had turned against him.
Like when they had the school board meeting, they sent out a mad text saying, you know, go and support Coach Bennett tonight, you know, and the very last thing it said is, don't tell Bryant.
And the coach, they say, continued to berate him in practice and during games.
And Coach Bennett yells out, you're pathetic and worthless.
The game and the team that had meant so much to their son was starting to bring him down.
Try to drag us through the mud and take Bryant through it with him.
But the real shock, according to the McIntosh family, was still to come. They say the school did nothing.
Basketball is serious business in Newcastle. The team plays in the largest high school gym in the country. It seats over 9,000 people. And the coach has the highest winning percentage of all active Indiana high school coaches.
It is so serious that when we went to the high school looking for answers, the superintendent called the police and had us thrown off the property.
Let the record show that all board members are present and accounted for.
We were not about to stop there. This week, we went to a school board meeting to ask why nothing had been done between the player and the coach. Newcastle School Corporation Superintendent Stephen Fisher, who had not returned our numerous phone calls, who had called the police on us, had nothing to say.
I have no comment. Can you tell me why you haven't returned our phone calls?
He took off before we could even ask our first question.
What is it that you don't want to comment on?
We followed him down the hall.
Why did you call the police on me?
Into his office. And after refusing to answer a single question,
You gonna call the police now?
he hits the lights to the office and exits out the back door.
We thought they would handle this properly, and as of this moment, they have never contacted us and told us they have done anything.
Eyewitness News has made several attempts to contact the coach, going to his house. No mistaking the Newcastle Trojan basketball coach lives here, but no one answered the door. We did find Coach Bennett leading his summer team at a tournament on the campus of Ball State. When we tried to talk to him, a group of parents stood in our way. Until we got outside, then the coach and his family made a beeline for their car and took off. Citing privacy issues, no one on the school board would talk about disciplinary actions against the coach, or even acknowledge if there had been talks with Coach Bennett about the incident. They also said pending litigation by the McIntosh family forced them into silence.
I'm going to have to defer to our attorney.
As of right now, the McIntosh family has not filed a lawsuit, but they say they may have to.
The school board may not be talking now, but their actions are very loud and clear. Recently, they voted to confirm Coach Bennett at the recommendation of the superintendents to continue in his role as the head varsity coach for at least another year. The McIntosh family has chosen to leave Newcastle. Their children are enrolled in another school, but will Bryant be allowed to play? That's a decision that will be up to the Indiana High School Athletic Association. John?